February 14th. A day dedicated to celebrating love and affection between intimate companions is the Valentine's Day. Each year on Valentine's Day, people around the world express their love for their soulmates by giving them candy, flowers, and many other romantic gifts, and find out time from their busy schedules to eat dinner in a lavish restaurant or simply spend just the two of us moment, away from the city lights. But it wasn't that popular around the world even 100 years ago. This is because love is a feeling, exchanged between couples every day, every moment, and should not be limited to a specific day. Then how this holiday became so popular and where did the name Valentine's Day come from? If we dated back, hundreds of years of traditions and customs have made this day into a holiday that we observe today. However, the origin of Valentine's Day is shrouded in mystery. We do know that Valentine's Day has its roots in both Christian and ancient Roman culture, and that February has long been regarded as the month of love. According to Catholic Church, at least 3 saints named Valentine or Valentinus, all of whom were martyred, are the main characters behind the name Valentine's Day. According to one narrative, Valentine was a priest who served in Rome in the 3rd century. During that time, Emperor Claudius II banned young men from getting married, because he believed that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and kids. The priest Valentine couldn't agree with the injustice of the law, and defied Claudius by performing marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's secret actions were discovered, Claudius gave the order to have him executed. Valentine was then imprisoned in the home of a nobleman, where he healed his captor's blind daughter. This incident led to the conversion of the whole family to Christianity. On the other hand, another narrative suggests that the Saint Valentine of Terni was a bishop, who was also beheaded by Claudius II, outside Rome. According to other legends, Valentine may have been murdered for trying to help Christians in escaping the brutal Roman prison, where they were frequently beaten and tortured. However, apart from the confusion of his identity, history suggests that, before his death on February 14th, Valentine wrote a love letter to the girl he fell in love with, and signed, "Your Valentine," a phrase that is still used today by romantic couples to address each other. By the way, Valentine was a popular name in ancient Rome and there has been 50 different stories associated with that name. But, history of early 500s suggests that the stories of these two Valentines have a lot in common. Both were beheaded on the same day of the year, February 14th, and buried next to the same highway. Because of the weak historical evidence, it is unclear whether the myth began with one saint who later split into 2, or biographers used information from each other, or even if either saint actually existed. However, in the Basilica of Santa Maria in Cosmedin, in Rome, Saint Valentine's skull can be found on display. In the early 1800s, skeletal remains and other artifacts, connected to Saint Valentine, were discovered during the excavation of a catacomb, close to Rome. These fragments of the late saint's body have later been dispersed across the world. In the Czech Republic, Ireland, Scotland, England, and France, you can see other pieces of Saint Valentine's skeleton on exhibit. The disappointing fact is that the story of Saint Valentine is more of a martyrdom, highlighting the saint's miracles and gruesome deaths, not romance. Then how did February 14th become the day of romantic love instead of a day of martyrdom? The credit of making February 14th a day of romantic love goes to the medieval English poet, Geoffrey Chaucer. In the 1370s, or 1380s, he wrote a poem called Parliament of Fowls, where he linked the celebration of Saint Valentine's feast day with a custom of courtly love. Chaucer wrote, "For this was sent on Saint Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate." Meaning, on February 14th, birds and humans come together to find a mate. This was a moment when a specific set of romantic ideas began to take shape in Europe. Chaucer and other writers of his period praised love stories involving knights and aristocratic women who were unable to wed, often because they were already married, thus creating clichés of longing and tragic setbacks that still inform modern romantic comedies. By the 1400s, noblemen who were influenced by Chaucer had started writing poems known as valentines to their romantic partners. Only then did stories start to surface connecting Saint Valentine to romance. Since no historical record of romantic celebrations on Valentine's Day was found prior to the poem that Chaucer wrote, we can give him the credit for inventing today's Valentine's Day. Although Valentine's Day is not a public holiday, it is celebrated all over the world, especially in United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Argentina, France, Mexico, and South Korea. In the Philippines, hundreds of couples celebrate their common wedding anniversary on that day. Nowadays, the expression of love is no longer limited to romantic couples. One can express his love for his friends and family too. In the United States, almost every school celebrates Valentine's Day when students distribute Valentine's cards among their classmates. The day also emphasizes self-love and care for the single people, whether we are in a relationship or not. This special day reminds us to take a moment to appreciate ourselves and the people we love. On this day, lovers express their affection with greetings and gifts. Love can be expressed in a variety of ways that have evolved over time. For example, formal messages or valentines first emerged in the 1500s, and commercially produced cards were being used by the late 1700s. The first commercial valentines were printed in the United States in the mid-1800s. The symbols of Valentine or love is heart, the traditional repository of emotion, as well as Cupid, the Roman god of love. In mythology, Cupid uses his arrow to strike the hearts of people. People who have fallen in love are sometimes said to be struck by Cupid's arrow. Furthermore, birds also became a symbol of the day, because it was believed that the avian mating season starts in the middle of February. Candy and flowers, especially red roses, which is a representation of beauty and love, are common gifts. People wear red color and decorate their places with red heart symbols and red roses. Valentine's Day has also been the subject of criticism for several reasons. One of the main reasons is its commercialization. There is no question that Valentine's Day has become a big business. In our modern consumer culture, money spent on this day is staggering. According to surveys carried out by the National Retail Foundation, NRF, American consumers plan to spend $21.8 billion on Valentine's Day in 2021. This figure is a reduction from Valentine's Day spending in 2020, most likely due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Again, planned Valentine's Day spending in the United States was expected to reach approximately $26 billion in 2023. This is an increase of about $2 billion from 2022, which is totally unnecessary in the time of inflation. According to a survey, roughly 4 in 5 consumers in the United States plan to shop for Valentine's Day in 2023, making Americans the biggest Valentine's Day shoppers in the world. In 2023, around 52% of respondents in the United States said they plan to celebrate Valentine's Day that year. Most of them are from age 18 to 50. This is 1 percentage point lower than the previous years, and indicates a decreasing trend from 2007 and 2009, when 63% of respondents planned to celebrate Valentine's Day. This unnecessary spending trend puts pressure on people in relationships to perform and buy gifts, leading to feelings of stress or financial strain. Every person has his unique way of expressing his love. But the so-called Valentine's Day trends put pressure on people to conform to societal expectations and celebrate the holiday in a certain way that the expression of love lacks its authenticity. Moreover, some people who are single sometimes feel lonely and left out on that day. Despite having criticisms, more and more people are inclined to celebrate this day in their own way. In this competitive society, people get to feel the essence of love in their monotonous life, at least for a moment on Valentine's Day. Even multiple research studies have concluded that the feeling of love exerts hormones like oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine that create the feeling of attachment, rewarded, focused, and overall make a person happy. It is undeniable that happiness has a positive impact on a person's motivation, his productivity and decision-making skills, which, in turn, lead to a successful life. Moreover, there have been many scientific research studies conducted on the relationship between love and success. These studies provide insights into the various ways that love and relationships can impact success, and the complex and multidimensional nature of the relationship between love and success. However, it's important to keep in mind that the results of these studies may not apply to all individuals, and further research is needed to better understand the relationship between love and success. It's also worth noting that, while having a supportive and loving partner can provide emotional and social support, it's not a guarantee of economic success. Ultimately, the relationship between love life and economic success is complex and can vary greatly from person to person. Above all, Valentine's Day is a holiday that has a rich history and holds cultural significance all around the world. Whether we celebrate it with our significant others, friends, or family, or whether we celebrate self-care and self-love, the holiday provides an opportunity to express love and affection to those we care about. Let us take a moment to reflect on the significance of Valentine's Day and celebrate the love that surrounds us. To learn and enjoy other informative content, go ahead and tap this video on the screen now. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you.